So with that said, we'll go back around and do our council reports with our boards and commissions. I guess we'll.
Am I up
run it
first?
back.
All right.
You're first on that list.
I promise not to take the 30 minutes I just took. Attended the Sabufka meeting, which is Sutter Butte Flood Control Agency meeting. And this was just a matter of a few days before the, so we've actually have had two, one meeting after the incident, which some of the funding was authorized to be able to move forward with repairs down at Laurel and other locations on the southern reaches that needed to have some preventative work done to them. But certainly, Councilman Cardoza and I were both at both of these meetings that were informative. Nothing more really was put out than what Mike put out earlier to the entire group here. But we were looking at different scenarios and certainly wanting to make sure that the levees were protected and what the stress loads may do to the levee systems, and certainly to get moving with some preventative work. And then second, the evacuation. I'm going to talk about that just a little bit more, but went to the Sacramento Council of Governments meeting on last Thursday, and a couple things came out of that. First, the Appeal Democrat, a certain writer of a small article in the Appeal Democrat, Harold Kruger, had written something about SACOG and a Caltrans audit and all this money that SACOG had misspent or not used the proper forms or whatever. Yeah, it was up in the $2 million range. That the audit took 4 years for it to determine. But we have an agreement with Caltrans. The repayment is less than $30,000, and it's going to be coming out of advanced funding for future programs through Caltrans. So there won't be any immediate funds leaving SACOG to reestablish that monetary loss that they determined through their audit. So that'll be taken care of. And also got an update on some criteria for transportation grant through SACOG. So we look forward to being able to possibly look at that for some of our needs here related to transportation. With that, I also addressed the 31 member board and asked for some consideration for grant funding using SACOG staff and so forth to deal with our the emergency that we had here. And I just want to also say that we received so much support from various locations like Grass Valley, Nevada City, Woodland, the County of Yellow, Sutter County itself, the city or the community of Sutter, heavily impacted by what happened in moving to higher ground. Colusa, Sacramento, and Vacaville. Within minutes of this incident occurring, my phone rang. I didn't recognize the number. I wasn't going to answer for fear that it was some crazy relative from the East Coast asking me how I might be. And it turned out to be Mayor Steinberg from Sacramento. And he offered any assistance he possibly could to help us through what we were going to be facing for the next couple days. But what I've asked the SACOG board to look at is that we start looking at regional planning for emergency response. It's needed. It's not just needed for Yuba City. It's not just needed for Marysville, but it's needed also downstream, Sacramento, West Sacramento, Woodland, Folsom. All of the participating agencies in SACOG could certainly use a portion of this. The reason I say this is SACOG has very robust GIS mapping systems that are available. These mapping systems have elevations, all kinds of land use planning components to them, but also we have staff down there that can help with this. But dealing with natural disasters, I don't care if it's a flood, earthquake, fire in different jurisdictions, that we would be able to have a component for addressing scenarios that would be a dynamic opportunity where the mapping would be updated on any given scenario. I'll use the potential flooding where you have inundation maps. Those would be the base criteria. But once you had water reaching certain locations, that criteria would change given the dynamic that was occurring at the very same time. That could be used by local and state EOCs. It would also help in dealing with and evaluating egress from our communities. One of the things that I was unaware of, but certainly our retirees from Caltrans probably are well aware of it, but all of our state highways, to include 20, but it's not just freeway, it's any state highway, has flow meters on it. Even if the flow meter is running in the opposite direction, the data that it's picking up individualizes a specific car, and it can tell you how long it's going to take that vehicle to arrive, let's say at the next given location down the road, based on what the compaction, the speeds, and everything else that are going on. So it identifies these and would be useful in knowing how to better move vehicles and utilizing the resources that the Highway Patrol could offer. But it would also have flood depths that, again, it would allow for some dynamic data. And again, we talked about down there how Facebook drove some of the chaotic response that had happened. Much of what I said earlier was also addressed, but I think that this would be a valuable asset, not only to our community, but to all the communities in the region. It could be shared with others, but once the modeling is built, it certainly could be useful to everyone. We have unanimous support at SACOG to look for federal funding through the Department of Homeland Security to be able to secure a system that they will help us build for the future. So we're looking forward to those opportunities that came out of that. And the last meeting that I had was with both Councilmember Cardoza and I attended the homeless, the regional homeless meeting today, and we're moving forward with the basic construct of a JPA or some formation of all of the entities becoming involved in this regional homeless issue to be able to impact it and direct resources too. So we're looking forward to what transpires over the next about 3 to 4 months as that is developed. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got Councilmember Cardoza.
Okay, on meetings, John already mentioned 2 of them. I attended also a couple others, the school district liaison, get it right. Liaison, thank you, meeting with Vice Mayor Parite, and also the Yuba City Transit Authority meeting. We also, Vice Mayor Parite and I attended. I'll let her go ahead and do that when she was up. For community events, we had another fun couple of weeks. I attended Cassidy Esperanza 40th Anniversary Gala. That was a wonderful event, great time. The 2nd Annual Historical Fair for the City of Marysville. They had a ceremony on the corner of 5th and D underneath the arch, introducing all the famous people that made Marysville famous, that made Marysville the town that it is. And if it wasn't for Marysville, Yuba City wouldn't be here today. And there was also a parade. It was a very brisk morning. Councilman Bill Simmons was nice enough. I got to ride with him, so it was a little warm in the vehicle. Also, I hope I don't butcher this. This was with the Yuba City Arts Gallery and the Burroughs Theater. I attended, it's the Duo Delero. It's a flamenco guitarist concert. Two Latin gentlemen came over and gave a great concert. It was a fun afternoon. And then later that day, that's when everything broke loose. So other than that, it's been a fun couple of weeks, and everybody have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Harris.
I can say the one of the commission I had the BO liaison project. I had to cancel that because of the things to do with the flood and all the preparation. I didn't. Everything else was not scheduled during the last 2 weeks. Most of my waking moments have been flood, or either response or the potential of the flood response and preparation and mitigation, and during that entire time, of which I've already addressed. I too did go to the CASA event, which was good, the Marysville Historic Fair, and the flamenco guitar, which they're actually pretty good. I was surprised, but they did well. But as far as community events go, but again, it seems like a year ago, but it's only been a week and a half. But it's just been all emergency response related, wearing both hats for me the last week and a half to 2 weeks. So.
Okay. And then, like Cardoza, Councilmember Cardoza indicated, yes, with the school board government liaison, we had a lot of new members, and we did go roundtable to kind of give an idea of where we're coming from and what's going on. Darren gave a presentation on what was going on with the city. We talked also about the summer program that's coming up for the kids, and as that relates to the schools. And then Scott Mentnick was also new to the as a member, and so we were introduced to him as well. And it was a short meeting, a quick meeting. And then I also attended the Yuba City transit meeting along with Councilmember Cardoza. All of the issues on there, the main one was that the card system is going through a pilot program right now, testing out the payments on the cards and being able to swipe that at the buses as people are entering the buses, so that they don't have to carry change with them or money with them. So they can go ahead and upload these cards and be able to use them. So hopefully we'll have a report on that by the end of the year and see how that pilot program went, so that they can go ahead and expand that out. Other than that, we do have this coming Saturday, the Peace Officer Year, the Officer of the Year dinner, and that will be at the fairgrounds. In addition to that, we also have this on March 1st, so it's next Wednesday, is the next community health forum that is put together with a vast majority of us, CHP, Yuba City Police, fire, our school system, as well as our mental health, public health, and so forth. And this community health forum is going to be, the topic will be marijuana and other drugs that affect our youth development. The keynote speaker will be one of our neurologists who will be speaking on different effects and what happens to the brain, and basically what the effects have on the brain. And we also will have the Yuba City Police Department, California Highway Patrol, also talk about statistics that we have here currently in our community, as well as other statistics from other areas that have been involved with keeping stats, as marijuana has become a recreational drug lately. So we will discuss those as well. We're looking forward to that, and that is again on Wednesday, March 1st. Other than that, hopefully we will take a breather, recover, re-examine, and do what we need to do to ensure safety and security of our community. Again, I want to thank everyone that was involved in helping get where we are today. All of our city, county staff, our law enforcement, our fire, National Guard who came in and stepped in, and each and every one of our community families and friends that participated and really helped make this a community effort to keep the safety and the security of our Yuba City. So thank you. With that,
The police department recovering that Purple Heart.
yes, we have the Purple Heart recovery. So thank you very much for the Yuba City Police to get that, along with the help of our citizens to locate those. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. And with that, we will adjourn for tonight.